Under the shadow of the Windy City, the semi-final round of Thursday Night Thunder comes to the Chicagoland Speedway. Seth Wansing, Aaron Edwards will share the front row as we wait for the lights to turn on and the fireworks to go off. 125 laps of racing in Chicagoland. Green flag is out. Wansing loose in turn number 1, Aaron Edwards for the lead. And a massive lead. Ryan Pennell joins me in the booth. Ryan Edwards just out of a cannon. After Seth Wansing made that mistake, our season 10 champion, Jacob Bradley, runs in the second position, and the pride of Rockwall, Texas, Donald Ray in the Skyline Chili Chevrolet runs in third, with Ethan Winters on the outside. Shout out to Dylan Brewer, shout out to Closing Now, shout out to everyone tuning in for our semi-final round. Ryan Pennell, shout out to you for coming out and playing with us tonight.
Yeah, excited to be here. I think it's going to be a great race. Get to race into the nighttime. Hopefully the lights work with us here tonight at Chicagoland. But great racetrack and a great track for some great racing, as we've already seen early on.
So I hope it's not a repeat of what we had at Darlington. You remember where the lights up top, the stadium lights didn't come on, but the infield lights did come on. And I think we had this at Bristol a couple of weeks ago. You remember it got extremely dark and the sun sets so early because of how tall Bristol is built.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have that here, but we'll see. Luckily the sun looks like it's out for right now, so that always helps with the lighting. As you can see, these drivers, these things are really, really loose out there.
We got fans already for that Skyline Chili Chevrolet. It is available on Trading Paints, and for those who know what I'm talking about, there is a spec map available for this paint scheme. Had some last-minute cosmetic changes to Donald Ray's race car, so now he's going to be driving that Skyline Chili paint scheme, but you can get to Trading Paints and you can download that, and I promise you it looks a lot better once you download the paint scheme from Trading Paints for, those that are interested. Fans of Elrich George as well, he's making a rare appearance. Closing Now, cheering for the Bahamian, who's running in the 17th position. Ryan, we're 5 laps into this race. We always talk about the drivers that you expect to win, the guys that are really good. We say, we know Jacob Bradley's going to do this, and Ethan Winters is going to do that. Talk about a guy in the field that you see as someone, a dark horse. Who's your dark horse tonight?
Well, I don't really know if I could consider him a dark horse, but I think Matthew Seeger, I think he's going to be in contention tonight. He had the issues, technical issues, what was that, 2 weeks ago? I think you may have cursed him on that one, but I think he's going to have a really strong showing tonight.
I will take full responsibility for cursing the Georgian driver. That was 100% my fault. If you were there, if you remember, Matt Seeger wasn't even on the roster. He didn't even register. I was making fun of him, and then his computer just up and went. His internet connection just up and died, and he wasn't available to race that evening, all because of me. This was like a few weeks ago, and I put this on the Rick James TikTok. Briley Wright had that incident at Dover, and I tried to take responsibility, and you said, no, we had nothing to do with that. So I guess it's a case-by-case basis. So far, Seeger is in fourth, up 4th places from where he started. I wouldn't call him a dark horse either, Ryan. What you said is correct. Is like he's in contention every single time. He's just a couple of steps away. You know who is a dark horse? And I'll say this, obviously because there's a lot of love for him in that 5-car, Donald Ray. For one, because when Jacket shows up, he does the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. He's very, very, very consistent. He's been racing with us for a long time, basically from the start of ARCS, and he's just always been that consistent, calm guy. You very, very rarely hear him upset on the radio. I mean, he's just a calm driver, and sometimes that's the best kind of driver out there on track.
It takes a lot to upset this guy. And definitely, when it comes to that, if he's in the mix for a late race fight off a late race restart, watch out. Do not sleep on Donald Ray. The 17 of Kevin Feemster. And how about Chuck Sweeting? Here's my dark horse pick. This fella in the 5-7 car. He's one of a couple Floridians, 2 or 3, I think, that we have in tonight's race. Chuck is that guy. We saw this at Dover, where he will come through the field and you won't even notice him.
Yeah, he's got a pretty paint scheme tonight. He's pretty hard to miss tonight. That front end, the hood is that chrome, almost like a pink chrome.
It looks good, don't it?
Yeah, it looks really good.
You know, and we were picking on him earlier this season. You remember we said, you know, Chuck, what is with this race car? We got to get you some sponsors. We told him that in a podium interview. We said, Chucky, let's get you some sponsors. He's cool. He kept on doing his thing. He comes out with this in our, this is what, race 14 of 15. In the 14 races we've done so far, this is one of the better paint schemes I've seen. Shout out Chuck Sweeting, because that looks good.
Reminds me of old NASCAR Thunder 2003 paint scheme before before you had sponsors on the car. That's what his car reminds me of. Really, really pretty car though.
Gorgeous car, almost looking like an ARCA car, doesn't it? Like it's maybe like the ARCA race at Daytona. It's a special event, you know, so you get really creative with it.
100%.
All right, let's talk about this racing for a moment while I'm not distracted here. This battle for second, Ethan Winters, Aaron Edwards. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Ethan Winters and Matt Seeger. I'm not paying attention. Also, you want to talk about not paying attention? Jacob Bradley went to the lead, and I completely missed that. That happened on lap 3. Where were we?
I have no idea. I guess we were just so used to it. It just happened so fast, and he is so fast, and yeah, he's out there leading now.
We'll talk about a driver that nobody notices, this guy right here, because he just peels away at the front of the race. This week, though, it's not so easy for him. He has had to work for it. Aaron Edwards watching the battle for third behind him, that production between Matt Seeger and Ethan Winters. Chuck Sweeting, Briley Wright, now left and right of each other. Briley Wright in the 29 Reese's machine on the outside of Sweeting. And then Kevin Feemster and Seth Wansing, our New Hampshire winner, fighting for 8th and the 9th position. Ryan, we finally have the lights on at the racetrack, so we're not going to go dark tonight. This is one of those racetracks where you and I have heard this phrase for years now. You're always on the wheel because there is no straight at Chicagoland, so the input is crazy. When you're sitting in that sim rig, genuinely, what does that do for your shoulder? It's got to be a more tiring experience because you can never relax your arms.
Yeah, that's what kind of makes this track unique is the back straightaway is not actually straight like you said. Oh, Briley, looks like he may have almost lost it. I saw some smoke come out of that 29 car, but it looks like he's okay though.
Let's have another look here. Emily asking me where is the scoring pylon, me completely forgetting that it's not even up there because, again, I'm just getting distracted up here. I'm trying to find out what happened to Briley. I think he just got loose out of the second corner there. This is him coming out of turn number 4. Briley currently in 7th. Seth Wansing running in 8th. And a single file conga line back to the Tropicana Supra of Tom Sears, our 2-time champion who rounds out the top 10. We were talking about special paint schemes earlier. We're going to get back to my man Larry Eberhard in just a second here. I want to give a quick shout out to the folks down there in South Kansas City, Peculiar to be exact. Lots of fans of Seth Wansing coming out tonight, especially Mr. Wansing himself. Ryan, you and I have talked to Mr. Wansing a couple of times. He's always a joy to talk to. So I want to give a shout out to the folks over there at Midwest Barbecue. From what I understand, Ryan, and you might know more about me, but if there's a smoker in the greater Kansas City area, like a meat cooker, if you will, in the greater Kansas City area, chances are the Wansing family built it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, we've gotten a chance to talk to Seth's dad, and they got a really cool thing going up there. And it's always cool when you have family that tunes in and watches us do this, fake racing, as most people would call it. But it's always great to have family involved and come out and support, their friends and their family that are out there racing.
You know, Aiden Norman said this how long ago? He said, the racing's real. The cars are fake.
Absolutely. I agree with him. And I don't agree with Aiden on a lot of things, but I agree with him on that.
You heard it here, probably second or third. Ryan Pennell agrees with Aiden Norman. If you know who these two individuals are, that's groundbreaking. In any case, just another big shout out to Midwest Barbecue and all the folks down there in South Kansas City. The KC masterpiece himself, Seth Wansing, runs in 7th, down 6 places from where he started, Ryan. And you know Seth, well, you know his driving style better than I do. And maybe you could tell us, do you think he's saving, or is he just kind of holding back in this first stint, trying to figure out what the car's going to do now that it's darker?
Yeah, he's probably saving a little bit. I know he got really loose on the drop of the green flag. I think it kind of surprised him almost, and he was able to hang on to it, but lost a lot of spots. It looks like he's pushing pretty hard, though. I don't know how much he's saving.
Briefly 3 wide into the first corner. The pride of Rockwall, Texas, Donald Ray, will get into the wall. Chucky Sweeting will smooth around him. And Seth Wansing now gains a couple of spots. He's up into the 5th position. Donald Ray now getting passed on the left side, passed on the right side. 3 wide all over the place. Now Tom Sears, Kevin Feemster, Briley Wright. They're going to tangle in a DeWalt Tropicana Reese's threesome out of that 4th corner, and they're almost 3 wide again. And briefly, Ryan, 5 or 6 drivers could have had their race turned upside down.
Yeah, that got really, really scary there for a little bit. But one thing I've been kind of watching is the lead. Aaron Edwards is actually closing on Jacob Bradley. He's basically there, and Matthew Seeger is only a second back. So we got racing all over the track right now.
Aaron Edwards in the number 1 Toyota Camry, now working on the Indiana Pilot. Jacob Bradley, the season 10 champion. It is official. As of last week, did we race last week? No, we had
we were off.
As of 2 weeks ago, Jacob Bradley sealing that season 10 championship, what was a foregone conclusion. And now that it's all over, you've got guys that are starting to tug on that cape and tell him, what's up, Jacob? Let's go to work. 100 laps to go next time by. Ryan, Bradley, Edwards, Seeger, your top 3.
Yeah, I knew Seeger was going to be good. He's really showed a lot of speed on the long run, which is good because, as we all know, TNT races usually do go green flag for a majority of the race. So to have a good long run car, that is exactly what you want tonight at Chicagoland. Oh, second place in the wall just a little bit.
Aaron Edwards really chasing it. He's running what we now call the Larson line. And somebody out there in chat can tell me, chat, who was running the Larson line before Kyle Larson was a thing? I want to say maybe Kurt Busch was that guy that would dare to go up there on the high side. Definitely Kyle Busch. Everybody knows Kyle Busch had the guts to run wherever he wanted. But from your perspective, you're the driving expert. Now that the track is cooled off, now that the sun is beyond the horizon, the track is only going to get colder. There's going to be more grip on the racetrack. Where do you run now, high or low? And when the track has finally gripped in, where do you run, high or low?
Yeah, I know me personally, when you have those fresh tires, you're going to run the low line more than likely. And then as the tires kind of get some heat in them and some wear in them, you'll usually go kind of up towards the high side. It looks like we got some leaders coming down pit road.
Leaders are in, and Matt Seeger is your new leader. So you have the points leader, then you have the number 1 of Aaron Edwards behind him. Kansas City's Seth Wansing is in second with Charles Sweeting up his tailpipes in the DuPont, and the Chrome machine will go to work. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. 28 laps. Caution-free so far of the scheduled 125. The top 7 have yet to pit, and now it's the top 6. Chucky Sweeting is on his way in. Emily, Seeger is in the chat. She's a big fan of this man right here, one Mr. Matt Seeger, our New Hampshire winner, running in second. And closing now, who's been a big fan of Rick James TV and always down for a laugh in our chat here. A huge fan of Elridge George. Ryan, this is in no way, we love Boss. We love Elridge Boss George very, very much. He is not a consistent front runner. However, he's third right now. He has not pit yet, and I don't know, I got a feeling Boss might just get lucky with a caution.
That's why we do it. That's why we stay out. Never mind, he's coming down pit road.
Did you see that? The way he almost was the caution?
You almost created a caution.
Oh
there,
my
so,
gosh. The curse of the commentator in full swing. Can we back this up? 5 seconds before this moment, I said he could get lucky with a caution. Watch this. My man Boss splits it between Ryan Lindemann and Thomas Andrews. Let's go on board Thomas Andrews. This is the number 2 Miller Dodge. That, you know what? I haven't pulled this out in a minute. Let's go with Thomas Andrews one more time. Watch this and have a listen. Avoiding disaster, and he doesn't even blink, and it's smooth moves like that that's going to earn Thomas Andrews his very own Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream.
Ice cream indeed, Cole. Ice cream indeed. Ryan, when's the last time I pulled out the Cole Trickle move of the race? It's been 84 years.
Yeah, it's been a while, for sure. So that was nice we had one, but I'm sure Thomas Andrews probably wasn't very happy about what happened. But yeah, I'm not sure. Boss, it looked like he may have wanted to come down pit road and realized he was a little higher than he wanted to be and just cut it hard left. So good job, everybody, especially Thomas Andrews, to not have a caution there.
I'm sure Thomas Andrews asked Boss very kindly, I wonder whatever you might be doing, good sir, as Boss dives down into the pits. Crisis averted, and that first pit stop cycle goes green. 32 laps into this one. Jake Bradley at the front by 0.3 of a second. Matt Seeger runs in third with Ethan Winters trying to take the spot away, Ryan.
Yeah, you'll see Seeger will make up a lot of time here because he did stay out a couple extra laps. So he does have fresher tires than everyone in front of him, first and second anyway. So we'll have to just keep an eye on that delta time, see how much he can close on these top two.
Now, Ryan, because the track is a constant circle, if you will, it's almost really hard to get a rhythm here because it seems like every lap might be different just depending on how you, and you could say this about every track. Each lap is different depending on how you exit the corner, but it's almost hard to get a consistent trajectory from the exit of 2 to the entrance of 3 as you would say any other track that has a flat backstretch.
Yeah, it is very challenging because it's not a huge input in the wheel, but you definitely on the backstretch you're turning that wheel just a little bit, and it does affect how you enter turn 3 because you're so used to, every other mile and a half. Oh, Feemster in the wall. Every other mile and a half you are straight and then turn in, but it's just not like that here at Chicagoland.
Kevin Feemster keeps it pushing. You called it. He got in the wall, and Tropicana Tom Sears will move around him in that orange number 14 Toyota Supra and the DeWalt Fusion. From where he started, Kevin keeps it pushing. Donald Ray, he's going to join this threesome. This is a three-way fight for the 6th position. Texas, Massachusetts, and Indiana running 6th, 7th, and 8th. I promised we were going to talk about Larry Eberhard here, and I genuinely want to know what's up with this Lumberjack Sausage Company, because he comes in with this race car that says, bring in the meat, which is the funniest thing I've seen all week. Just this awesome plaid race car here. Normally, Larry is driving the number 96 Washington Commander Chevrolet. He loves his Commanders, but tonight he's delivering something just a little bit spicy. The 96 Bring in the Meat Delivery Service Chevrolet, sponsored by Lumberjack Sausage, and it features Lumberjack Louie on the hood. Ryan, check that out. So the car's plaid from bumper to bumper with Lumberjack Louie on the hood. And the folks over at Lumberjack Sausage say that this race car has enough flavor to stall the field. Can you believe that?
Gotta love it. I mean, great looking race car.
Good for Larry.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it might be a little cold in Chicago tonight with that flannel race car.
Shout out to the folks over at Lumberjack Sausage as well. And we talked about dark horses earlier. This guy right here, definitely a top 10 dark horse every week, but, and we were saying it earlier, Larry has just taken like a fish to water when it comes to TNT.
Yeah, he's a great driver and, you know, just very consistent, very under the radar, you know. I mean, if he doesn't really say much before, during or after the race, you know, just very quiet driver, which, trust me, we have some drivers that we can't get them to stop talking, and sometimes Larry, we're like, hey, you good, buddy? You know, I mean, it's, but yeah, he is definitely fits in here in TNT.
Ryan, when this racetrack opened in 2001, you were amongst the hundreds of thousands of people in the Chicagoland and Joliet area to come catch a race at their new home track. IndyCar races here. I don't know if you've ever seen an IndyCar race here, but they were out of this world. I think there was a couple of 3-wide finishes here as well. But this track is a favorite of a lot of drivers.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's so unique. I mean, it's one of the first, like I said, you know, it kind of looks like a Kansas, Las Vegas, those type tracks, but you know, it obviously drives so differently than those other tracks. So it's just really cool, and a lot of drivers they love unique tracks where it's different. You know, they feel like they can you know, shine at those tracks that are not cookie cutters like, you know, some of the other ones that we race at.
When it comes to these cookie cutter racetracks, that's one thing that I've always thought is there's tracks that genuinely look identical to the untrained eye. And I've said this before, Atlanta, Charlotte, Texas Motor Speedway, for the most part, all look identical because they share that same shape. Recently, Atlanta is not one of those identical racetracks. Now, with its banking, the way it races, it's become a drafting track now. I forget where I heard this, but I think a lot of fans have been talking about it now, where they're saying that Texas Motor Speedway is going to get the Atlanta treatment. Have you heard this?
I have heard that rumor. That we'll see. I don't know if I believe it or not, but we'll see what happens.
The 6 and the 51 green battle. Tommy Withers, look at the way he's drifting out of turn number 2. And Ryan Lindemann to the left-hand side, just trying to stay away from him. But Ryan, do you feel the car when it's just when the back end is just hanging out? That obviously you feel the car, but there has to be some sort of comfort that you feel, or some sort of you're used to feeling the car being that loose, drifting that wide out of the corner.
Yeah, these cars, they do that a lot. Just the way that they're kind of skewed and how they're set up, it looks like they are way out of shape, but it's probably pretty comfortable to drive. But you definitely do feel it. I mean, you know, you're burning up your right rear tire when you're doing that, because all the weight and all the force is put on that right rear, because the car is just basically driving off of the right rear. So it's definitely a little sketchy, especially when you get cars around you. But one thing I'd like to add is check out Matthew Seeger. Look where he is at in second. And that gap, Rick, I think it was at like 3 seconds when he came off pit road. It's now at 0.7 of a second.
The driver from Georgia in the 1.6 Celsius Chevrolet, now within 0.6 of a second to Jacob Bradley. 47 laps into our caution-free race thus far. Ryan, drivers came in from laps 27, let's say 26. Looks like Withers and Andrews, the 6 and the 2 respectively, came in on lap 26. So we had a 4-lap window from 26 to 29 where drivers came in. Quick math tells us we're going to have pit stops again in the next 4 laps. And what might change in this running order?
Well, I saw Aaron Edwards, he got into the wall pretty hard. Again, I don't think it's probably not a lot of damage, but it really ruined his momentum. You know, this track's very momentum-based. That's how Seeger was able to get around him. But now I'm interested to see, does Seeger push it 2 or 3 extra laps like he did that first stop? Or does he come in with Jacob Bradley and Aaron Edwards this time around? That's kind of what I'm watching.
The race leader, Jacob Bradley, still out the front of this race. Closing now, TV, a big fan of the chat as well. And Smith Roger 04 made his first appearance in the chat tonight, so shout out to him as well. Chat, if you've got a favorite driver, let me hear it. Don't be so silent. Let us know what you think. Right there on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube as well, let me go ahead and bring up those comments. Let me know where you're watching from. I don't know. Let's talk about a driver who shouldn't win but might. I don't know. We've been talking about dark horses all night, man. I think that's just going to be a continuing theme. We might have that dark horse winner tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is probably the first time that I've called a race with you where Jacob Bradley hasn't just been walking away with the field. So, you know, Matthew Seeger definitely has he's got some speed for that number 50 car tonight. We'll see if he can close the deal, but I'm liking his chances right now.
One of the Bluegrass Bandits in that 2.9 Rhesus Chevrolet. Briley Wright running down the Skyline Chili number 5 of Donald Ray, and the man from Texas on the left-hand side trying to hold on to that 9th position while the 20's in the wall. John Honeybrink is in the wall. He's trying to stay off. Elrich George behind him as well, and they're going to split George. Briley's into the wall. The 5 gets around him, and it's 3 wide as they try to avoid John Honeybrink. Briley Wright now in 9th, Donald Ray in 10th, and pit stops now beginning. Ryan, once again, we've avoided disaster.
Yeah, this track, it's tough to get on pit road, but that was really, even before pit road, that was really scary there. And I mean, you're moving so fast that sometimes you don't even notice cars in front of you really slow, and Briley did a really good job to avoid that and not make it worse than it could have been.
Not sure why I watched Donald Ray come to a complete halt there, but anyway, back to the lead. A quarter of a second is what remains between Jake Bradley and Matt Seeger. 53 laps into our 125-lap competition. And Seeger's going for it. Now, he might also know that Jacob Bradley's trying to come in, but the 16 is on the attack. Fans in Georgia cheering for the pilot of the Celsius machine. Ryan, put yourself in the 16 seat. Where do you make your move?
I mean, I think he's kind of waiting, but he also knows, obviously, like you said, that the 50 car is probably going to be pitting here in the next few laps. So, got to be careful because he's going to slow down. You don't want to hit him. You don't want to cause any damage to your car. So, he might just be kind of waiting right now. He's in a good spot. He knows that he's there. He knows he has the speed. Just follow him make a mistake, and then capitalize on that mistake.
I think we have 70 laps to go. What's 125 minus 55? I have no idea.
Yeah, 70 sounds right.
Is it 70? All right, 70 sounds right, so we're going to go with 70. We don't know. Chat, you probably know more math than we do. Let me know if that's right. Ricardo Catania and Thomas Andrews going to do some synchronized spinning on the way into the pits. The DuPont Chevrolet, the TNT Dodge Charger. Almost losing the race cars coming into the pits, and Thomas Andrews could use a little bit of love on the right side of that race car. Jake Bradley decides to come in, and that's going to make your new leader, Matt Seeger, in the Celsius Chevrolet. Fans at home, we have one more race before we close out the Thursday Night Thunder season. That's next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the second configuration, if you will, not the draft track version. So that's going to be next week. And then the V8 Supercars will kick off, 2 weeks after that, the 12th of June from the Daytona Motor Speedway. Ryan, you're going to be in that one.
Yep, I'll be there.
With your red Mustang. This is going to be your 5th season, all with red Ford Mustangs. And this season's going to be fun because seasons previous, it was always Ford versus Holden. But now that the third gen of the Supercars have the Camaro, we're going to have the Mustangs versus the Camaros for the first time. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. My only question is the steering wheel still on the wrong side of the car?
The steering wheel is on the Australian side of the car. Yes, it is.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. I was working on that trailer earlier as well. I'm going to put the finishing touches on that trailer probably right after this race and get ready to debut that. There's actually a musician is the right word, sure, by the name of DVD Legend 44 that made a song specifically that I liked, and I reached out and I got their permission to use that song in the trailer. So a lot of fun things cooking up. I'm rambling. Matt Seeger has come into the pits, Ryan.
Yes, he has, and that's going to be interesting because when he comes out of the pits, obviously he's going to be pretty far behind Jacob Bradley, but he's going to have really fresh tires compared to that 50. So we'll have to see what that gap looks like. You remember last time I said, I think it was about 3.2 seconds when he came off pit road, and he was able to close that gap. So let's see what that gap is, once he gets back going.
We'll see what happens. The laps are winding down, and I'll tell you, Jacob Bradley just went purple, 29.80. That is his personal best and the fastest lap anyone has put in tonight. So it's 65 laps to go next time by. Jacob Bradley leads Aaron Edwards by 3.4 seconds. Matt Seeger is 1.4 seconds behind, but Ryan, and for those that may not know, and I'm actually wondering myself, is 3 laps going to be that big of a difference?
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially here, especially with these cars, like we talked about it earlier. These cars are just basically driving off the right rear and right front. If they get tight, you're going to be using up your right front. If they're loose, like we saw the 6 car earlier, it's using up your right rear. So. 3 or 4 laps. Yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, that doesn't matter." I'm telling you, watch that 16 car, watch the gap between first and second. It's going to be closing every single lap, because that's what a lot of people don't realize, that as the 16 car's tires are wearing, the 2 in front of him, those tires are always going to be worse throughout the entire run. So he's always going to have a slight advantage on tires. And he's, like I said, he's already gaining on Edwards at this point, and I think he'll catch Bradley as well.
So the lead still 4 seconds. Meanwhile, second place about to be swapped out. Matt Seeger looks to the inside of Aaron Edwards, and he's going to make very light work of the number 1 Camry. The Celsius Chevrolet moves into second. Kevin Feemster trying to get around Seth Wansing while Tom Sears tries to get up to Kevin Feemster. Seth went green, 30.2 seconds last time around, same as Lawrence Eberhard in the Lumberjack Sausage, 96. Larry running in 13th right now. So we're 2 stints through, Ryan. Driver, you tell me, what have you learned about your car in these last 64 laps and 2 pit stops that's going to help you for the second half of this race, because we are now halfway?
Yeah, you just got to, the main thing is they know how hard they can push. Every time you come down pit road, you can look at your tire data and say, okay, my right front was at, 64%, my right rear was at 82%. Okay, well, now you can kind of change the brake bias a little bit. That's really the only thing you can change in this car in race, but it will help you, uh, kind of change. Instead of it using up the right front, you'll shift it back a little bit to the right rear. You want your tires to wear evenly. I mean, that's the goal for every driver, but sometimes it can be difficult. So that's what I'm doing, is just looking at tire data and just adjusting my race pace based off that data.
Shout out Emily in the chat for reminding me that I had the scoring pylon on the best time of the race and not the current gap. Ryan, you know this.
I tell you what, she is on.
She's on her job.
She is on it. Yeah.
She's every single week, because I always forget, and she constantly reminds me. If it wasn't for Emily and the other fans in the chat and yourself, I'd lose my elbow if it wasn't attached to the back of my arm.
She'd be a good producer. We need to see what we need to do to get her hired on over here for Thursday nights.
Emily, it pays absolutely nothing, but if you want to learn on how to produce Thursday Night Thunder, by all means, let's talk about it. I'm sure Seeger wouldn't mind. He'd probably want the airtime. Anyway, Seth Watson, Kevin Feemster getting a bit closer. Tom Sears is going to join that now. And Ryan, with fresh tires, do you even want to be part of a bundle like this, or now that we're halfway through the race, is it just time to settle?
Yeah, not really. I mean, you don't want to be racing because, I mean, you do the math. They're going to have to stop probably two more times. So, I mean, that's a lot of pit stops in a race. But, when you only have a certain amount of fuel, you got to pit when you got to pit. But yeah, you don't want to be racing because that's going to use up your tires even more, and you're just going to lose speed. So that's why you kind of just see them riding in line right now. They're waiting for that last pit stop, then they'll start pushing a little harder.
So on average, drivers are going 27 to 28 laps. Quick math is going to tell us that it is a 4-stop race. The Drip Diecast and Collectibles Track Facts estimated 25 to 35 laps. I thought they would go further, but we're looking at a solid 4-stop before we're done tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And the bad thing is, I think the fuel window, you could probably do 35, but you'd have to save so much. You would just lose so much time, it just wouldn't be worth it. So that's why you see just everybody pushing, and then after about 27, 28 laps, they come down pit road.
Ray to the inside, Sears to the outside, and the Skyline Chili Chevrolet will give up the position to the Tropicana Supra. Kevin Feemster will also take advantage of Ray's current position, and Jacket just falling through the running order, 71 laps into this one. Larry Eberhard now working on Tommy Withers in the Pfizer Ford Taurus. That's for the 12th position. Emily says all business inquiries go through Seeger. All right, well, we're going to talk to the Celsius driver here in just a moment. Jacob Bradley working his way through lap traffic. The Season 4 champion, Thomas Andrews, battling with the Marlboro Chevrolet of Colin McDonough. The number 39 car now rolls behind the Lowe's Jimmy Johnson Foundation machine. And fans, if you love the paint schemes that you see here, if anybody in the chat just loves that NASCAR nostalgia and you want to get one of these paint schemes you see here, head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles. You can find them on eBay. They are your #1 online store for all sorts of NASCAR memorabilia. If you want something like the Kevin Harvick car that we have here with Briley Bright, if you want something like the DeWalt Ford that we have with Kevin Feemster right here, Tommy Withers in the Pfizer car, Richie Catania running the DuPont colors tonight. Who doesn't love the Blue Deuce? Check out Drip Diecast and Collectibles, even just to see what they have. But go to their website, check them out. They've been supporting us for 10 seasons, and here's to the future with Drip as well. But check them out if you love NASCAR, if you want sports memorabilia. Head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles. They are your #1 online store for all sorts of NASCAR memorabilia. That is Drip Diecasts and Collectibles. Ryan, 50 to go. Who's going to win?
Oh man, I still got my money on Matthew Seeger. Look at that delta now. It's only 0.5 of a second. So he went from 4 seconds almost to less than 0.5, and I mean, the gap's still going down. Even him battling with lap traffic there with Colin. Luckily, Colin kind of got out of the way, but I mean, he's right there. And if I'm Seeger here, maybe not this stop, but that last stop, you almost have to come down with Jacob Bradley. Put yourself on even terms. You don't want to have to be catching him with only, you know, a handful of laps left. Be on the same strategy and just race him, you know, all out.
You see the stint length there. Drivers going approximately 27 to 29 laps on a stint. Like you say, Ryan, we know that they can go further. They can go those 30 to 35 laps. Here comes Matt Seeger for the lead. Knowing drivers can go 30 laps, the magic number for them is going to be 95. Anybody who pits after lap 95 can make it to the end. The drivers last pitted here on lap 56. No way that they're going to make it to 95. So this is the battle, not just due to the pit cycle. This could be the battle for the end of the race. Matt Seeger on the left-hand side of the Season 10 champion. Bradley gets in the wall. McDonough now has to play avoidance. New leader, Matt Seeger.
And this is where Matthew Seeger has to set sail and make that gap as big as he possibly can before this next pit stop, because we know that last time he was about 0.2 behind Jacob Bradley when the stop started. If he can get to a 2-3 second lead, look out now, because then he's on a different strategy. And he's, oh, was that Jacob that just pitted?
Get out of here. Jacob Bradley's in the pits.
Early.
Extremely early. So he pitted on lap 56. It's now 78. So here's where Jacob Bradley is coming in. Well, Ryan, let's do the math.
Yeah, it's a little early, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't know.
Seeger retains the lead. Aaron Edwards is in second. Charles Sweeting runs in third. So it is what? Lap 79. So let's say he can go, when I say he, I'm talking about Jacob Bradley. He can go 30 laps. That puts him at lap 109. If he pits, let's say at 109 at the latest, that's going to give him 14 laps to go to the end, which is more than enough. But I think Bradley's also counting on the tires not being dust at the end of this race. Where Matt Seeger is at, he pitted on lap 58. If Seeger stretches all the way to the end, he'll then have to pit at lap 88, which is about 30 laps. 30 more laps from 88, Ryan, is 118. So Matt Seeger, if he goes the distance on these fuel runs, will be pitting with 7 laps to go, while Jacob Bradley, he'll be pitting with approximately 15 laps to go. So you were talking about the delta. And if you're following me through my slightly incoherent ramblings this whole way through, Ryan, the question is now this. Is Matt Seeger going to make up that delta in those 7 laps?
I don't know. It's gonna be questionable. I think the 50 knew once Seeger got around him, if he didn't pit immediately, he was gonna lose the race. So he had to change it up. He had to do something different. He knew that once that 16 got around him, it was pretty much race over as far as him winning. I don't know. I don't know that strategy is going to work out. I mean, I know why he did it, because obviously fresh tires, you were going to be way faster than that 16. But if you have to make a pit stop before the 16 does, I don't know. This is going to be interesting.
There's so much at play. There is so much at play. We already
This is
know
why
that
we do this, Rick. I mean,
this is literally
this is great.
This is it. This is the essence of racing, man. Talk about it. This is literally why we do this.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, everyone has different strategies. You have people saving. You have people early pitting. I mean, this is awesome. It sounded like I just heard over the radio 16 might be pitting this time.
84 laps into this race. Matt Seeger is in the pits. Car number 16 comes down at a great rate of speed. He crosses that cone at 50 miles an hour, and he ticks it up to 58, 59. Closing now asking what happened to Elrich George. Well, the Bahamian is 18th and out of this race, the only DNF thus far. New leader in the number 9, Pepsi DuPont Chevrolet, Kansas City's Seth Wansing.
We really haven't talked about Seth much other than, early on in the race, but I just heard him come over the radio. He's going to be pitting this time as well, so he's going to lose some time, but now it kind of shifts back to the whole Matthew Seeger, Jacob Bradley fight. We'll see what that looks like.
40 laps to go this time by. Jacob Bradley on the back straight. Seth Wansing moving at a painfully slow 60 miles an hour. Chuck Sweeting last pitted on lap 79 as well. He finds himself 7 seconds behind Jacob Bradley. Ryan, how about 9th place up for grabs? And it's the usual suspects. Riley Wright, Tom Sears, Kevin Feemster.
Yeah, those three have been racing around each other this entire race, which is honestly pretty impressive after green flag pit stops, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and these 3 drivers still just nose to tail. That's pretty impressive.
You can see why this track is a favorite among fans.
Yeah, I mean, it produces just absolutely amazing racing. As Briley, not sure what happened to Briley there, got a little loose there.
This 4-car team now becomes a 5-car group. John Honeybrink on the inside running in 16th, trying to avoid getting in the way of Briley Wright, Kevin Feemster, Tom Sears, and now Donald Ray in the 6th place, who's been pulled into this fight. Southampton, Massachusetts, Tom Sears now rolling behind the number 5 of Donald Ray and trying to take the spot away from him. Ryan, Matt Seeger's back out on the racetrack. He is pitted on lap 84. So again, he cannot go the distance. Well, no, he absolutely can't go the distance because that's 40 laps to the end of this race. So he has to come in again. Everybody has to come in again. But the question is when, Ryan? Because you need to maximize the tire life, don't you? But you don't want to leave it too late that you have no time to use those tires.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not really sure. I don't know if Seeger just had a bad stop or what, but he's being scored in 5th right now, and he's really far back. So I don't know what happened. It looked like he had a pretty clean entrance on the pit road. I don't know, that math doesn't make sense to me. I'm not good at math, but just doesn't click for me for some reason.
Of all the drivers in the top 5, Matt Seeger had the slowest pit stop, 15.17 seconds. There's the graphic in the bottom right-hand corner.
It always seems like there's something for that 16 car, doesn't it?
Always something. And I lied. He is the 2nd slowest of the drivers in the top 5, 3/10 behind Aaron Edwards. The pit lane time, not quick as well. Jacob Bradley spent 40.62 seconds traveling through pit lane. Matt Seeger spent 42 seconds traveling through pit lane. 1.4 seconds the difference, and Jacob Bradley's pit stop was half a second faster than Matt Seeger's. We have just over 30 laps to go. So now what do you do, Ryan?
You race like the wheels are about to fall off of it. I mean, that's about the only thing you can do. My brain is fried at the fact that Seeger's 19 seconds off of Bradley right now. I mean, he had passed Jacob Bradley. I know Bradley pitted earlier, so he was making up some time, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, Rick. Maybe somebody in the chat that's smarter than me can figure it out, but you got the race analyst confused up here, Rick.
Chat, Tell me what happened. So, but Ryan, you're right. The math isn't mathing. When Jacob Bradley was 1.5 seconds quicker than Matt Seeger in pit lane and half a second quicker in the pit stall itself. So a combined difference of 2 seconds quicker. Matt Seeger had the lead when the cycle started, and Seeger now ends up 18 seconds behind Jacob Bradley. My only thought, and actually, Ryan, I'll tell you right now, Seeger missed his pit.
Oh my goodness! I see
Matt
it now
Seeger
on your stream.
missed his pit. I don't know how we missed, just loose out of turn number 4. And Georgia's
Wow.
Matt Seeger with the race lead. There it is, Ryan. This is what we've been.
Yep.
This is why
That's
the
it.
math doesn't math. It's because we missed this. One more look at Georgia's Matt Seeger. And he pulled
Man,
the
that's
New
a-
York Knicks.
That's a heartbreak. It is. I mean, I knew I was looking at it, Rick. I was like, that just doesn't make sense. I know he's a little slow on pitting, but now it all makes sense, and that's a bummer for that 16 camp.
Turn 4 is his Tyrese Halliburton, and the New York Knicks go skidding through the grass. Matt Seeger runs in the 5th position, while the season 10 champion Jacob Bradley has a 7-second advantage back to Chuck Sweeting. Seth Wansing works to the left-hand side of Donald Ray. This is for the 8th position. And the Missouri pilot will stick around to the left-hand side of the Texas driver. And Ryan, I think you and I are just in the same boat, man. I think we're just still speechless over what happened. Not to Seeger's my guy. You know this. He's your friend too. He's a friend to all of us. Everybody in TNT loves this guy. And given the situation that we have seen before, it's certainly not over until it's over. However, it just became a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have a caution at this point, which is obviously is very rare in TNT. So it's unfortunately, yeah. And as a driver, man, I can only imagine what's going through his head right now. I mean, I've been in those situations where been running up front and you make a mistake, you speed on pit road, or you spin out or whatever may happen, and you're just, I mean, now he's got to deal with that for the next 26 laps. He's got to think about, man, what would have been if I didn't make that mistake. And I'm telling you, it's a lonely place in your own head as a race car driver when you have 25 laps to think about what you did.
Kevin Feemster skids out of turn number 4. He's lost a position to Seth Wansing. Ryan Lindemann from Tampa, Florida, moves to the left-hand side of Tommy Withers, and he wants to take the 11th position away from the Virginian. "26 laps to go" will become the final quarter next time by in tonight's semi-final. If you just tuned in, Matt Seeger leading this race, in control, and the lead slips through his own hands after an unforced error in turn number 4. Closing now in the chat says the 16 car has a curse. Maybe the 16 is cursed. Maybe he needs a number change. I don't know. We got to start throwing some salt on our computers for him.
Change it to a 15 or something. Yeah, he's I mean, he's had a great season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just an absolutely consistent season. Just again, I think we brought it up earlier in the year. Just reminds me a lot of Mark Martin. Just been there so many times and just never could quite get it done.
Speaking of Mark Martin, Tommy Withers in that Mark Martin paint scheme, still trying to hold on to Lindemann in the top 10. Tom Sears now trying to stay in the top 6. He makes contact with the wall. Seth Wansing working on the Tropicana car. 23 laps to go next time by. In our Chicagoland event, Jacob Bradley leads Chuck Sweeting by 6 3/4 seconds. And they still have to pit. So expect pit stops in about the next 5 to 6 laps. The drama's not over, Ryan, by a long shot.
Yeah, Jacob Bradley could have the same thing happen. I mean, every race car driver can make a mistake at any point. But keep an eye on Matthew Seeger. He's not done yet. I think he might, by the end of this thing, I think he finishes either second or third.
The podium is there for him. The podium is waiting. He's working on Ethan Winters right now in the 4th position. The gap is 14 seconds to Jacob Bradley. Seeger, Winters running 5th and 4th, respectively. This is back with Thomas Andrews and Richie Catania duking it out for the 10th spot. And a big slide by Thomas Andrews. He's going to get into the wall. Richie Catania will sail away from the TNT Dodge, and the Floridian puts the DuPont Monte Carlo into the 10th spot. Matt Seeger now gets around Ethan Winters and moves into 4th. 2:0 to go next time by, and then it's 1-9 at the line. Fingers crossed for a miracle, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like I said, I think that 16 car probably, maybe not on a short run, but on a long run, definitely the fastest car out on track tonight. And just, hoping now that something happens, whether Jacob Bradley makes a mistake, which is very rare, but anything's possible. We'll just have to see what happens.
Bradley's made mistakes before. Like you say, it's rare, but it happens. Seeger on the inside, he runs in 3rd right now. Aaron Edwards is 1.5 seconds ahead of him. Jake Bradley on his way into the pits, running through that cone at 50 miles an hour. He's going to bring it up to 60. And sail into his pit. All eyes on car number 50. Aaron Edwards will stay out. He last pitted on lap 82, and he will be the new leader with Matt Seeger hot on his heels, Ryan.
Yeah, Seeger, like I said, I mean, he just has so much speed. I mean, it's just one of those things where when this thing's over, if we get to talk to him, it's going to be, man, what if? The almighty what if that didn't happen? What would his race look like right now? But unfortunately, racing, things happen. You have to adapt, and he's done a good job of it so far, but just a heartbreak tonight.
Aaron Edwards decides to come in. Matt Seeger will be the new race leader with 18 laps to go. Ethan Winters runs in 2nd with Kansas City's Seth Wansing in a podium position, and Kevin Feemster running in the 4th spot. Ryan, 17 to go. The top 4 have not pitted, and we say they can go about 40 laps maximum. Do you expect anybody to try and gamble for that yellow?
I mean, I don't think so. It's definitely possible. Especially if you're staying out here, you're just hoping, for a late race caution. But at some point, you kind of just have to give up and pit, as we see most everyone pit, other than, I believe, Seth might still be out there.
Car 17 comes to a halt with 17 laps to go. Seth Wansing in the number 9 Pepsi car sits ahead of Colin McDonough. That is not for position. Wansing, the last car who has not pitted, and he's the one who's going to try and go the distance, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think he can make it, but he's just kind of hoping for a caution at this point. But I did watch Seeger come to pit road. He made it safely this time, so all good this time. He's just wishing that would have been the case last time.
Jacob Bradley went purple to rub salt in the wound, Ryan. 29.6 seconds. He's put in the fastest lap of the race again. Seth Wansing is in, and no caution will save the number 9. So Jacob Bradley will gyrate around the 4th corner and be your new leader with 14 laps to go. How about Chuck Sweeting, Ryan? He pitted on lap 105, so everybody's good to go. Briley Wright pitted on lap 100. He'll have enough gas to make it as well. Chucky Sweeting is running in the second position. We've been talking about dark horses all night and how he creeps through the field without anybody noticing, and here he is.
Yeah, it's a great run. I mean, he's just been solid all night. I mean, no mistakes. And that paint scheme reminds me of, was it John Nemechek that had that fluorescent, was it Bell South or Bell Net? You remember that car? It was white. The hood was white. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my rear end, but those stripes on the front remind me of John Nemechek's, I think, number 87 car back in, oh man, probably the mid-90s.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There were two cars. One of them was the 87. That was Joe Nemechek's race team, and it was sponsored by Bell South. It was a Chevy Monte Carlo, and it was an 87, and it was awesome. I loved that car. It reminded me of Jeff Gordon's car. And then in the Cup Series, he ran the 42. But I think that car was owned by Felix Sabates, and the difference was in the Cup Series, the car was all blue. In the Busch Series, the front of the car was white.
I remember that. Thank you. It's great because you know so much about NASCAR. It's amazing, and I don't know a whole lot about nothing. So it's good to have a partner that knows what they're talking about.
No, you're being too kind. I swear. I know enough about NASCAR paint schemes from like 1992 to about 2003. And after that, my knowledge is zero. So it's a team effort, man. I promise you.
Fair enough. But yeah, sorry, I got off topic there a little bit. But yeah, great run by Chuck Sweeting. And hopefully he can pull this thing out and finish in second. I mean, I don't... Is that his best finish of the season? I'd have to look, but great run regardless.
I think it is his best finish of the season. I think he's had it once before. I just couldn't tell you where. The fighting's not done. The battling is not over. Tom Sears and Seth Wansing are arguing, discussing, and debating for that 6th position. Sears in 6th, up 5 places from where he started. One off the hardest charger, which is Ryan Lindemann, who's up 6 places from where he started. The TranStar Diesel, number 51, doing a great run tonight. And Ryan, we gotta have Chicagoland on season 11 because, without a doubt, man, this track has just been fantastic tonight.
Absolutely, and it seems like the cars are fun to drive, but also a little hard to drive. So you have some talent being shown out there, but it's not like it's overwhelming where people are spinning out, and everyone's done a great job of, racing with really good etiquette tonight as well. So yeah, great track, and yeah, hopefully we come back next season.
I have a feeling we will come back next season.
Ooh, Seth almost lost it.
Coming out of turn number 4, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, coming out of 4, I think he was trying to pass Sears, and man, he about saw the pit wall there.
Matt Seeger and Aaron Edwards briefly swapping spots there. Aaron Edwards almost tags the wall. Seeger gets into the 3rd position. Aaron Edwards not giving up the fight. 7 laps to go. Jacob Bradley leads by 8 seconds over Chuck Sweeting. And Matt Seeger pulling away from Aaron Edwards, almost 10 seconds behind Chuck Sweeting. Emily says this would be a cool track to see twice next season. And because we only run between 14 to 16 races, I'll say, per season, TNT, we don't duplicate tracks, right? I think one season we did do Atlanta twice. We did the old configuration and the new configuration a few weeks apart. I think that was season 8. But other than that, we don't repeat tracks. Although I will say this, Chicagoland absolutely will be on season 11 because what a race.
Yeah, it's always hard. You don't want to go to the same track in the same season just because, it's nice to have some different scenery sometimes. We we used to do it in A squared. We would follow the Cup's schedule, so we would have duplicate tracks. But when you have a shorter season, like you said with TNT, it's just it's good to have different variety of racetracks in your schedule.
Seth Wansing and Donald Ray will also battle. 6th on the line. Tom Sears just ahead comfortably in 5th. If you just tuned in, we've gone caution-free since the drop of the green flag. And we have, 4 laps to go? 3 laps to go? There it is, 4 laps to go now. Caution-free so far. The season is almost over. We wrap it up next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway right here on Rick James TV. Ryan, your home track, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So it'll be a homecoming for you. It will be another TNT season that's ended at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Seth Wansing almost loses the car ahead of Tom Sears. So the season's going to end with fireworks, and I think everybody loves Atlanta as well.
Yeah, Atlanta, and it's the old Atlanta, correct?
Correct. It will be the old configuration, not the draft configuration.
Yeah, and that's so much fun in these cars because you can really, tire wear is huge, and these cars, like we saw them sideways tonight, they'll be that way next Thursday night too. So that's gonna be an awesome race.
It will also be Matt Seeger's home track. As Tom Sears gets in the wall big time, Kevin Feemster beneath him. 2 to go next time by, and they will now change spots late in the game. Feemster up 3 places from where he started. White flag next time by, and Pride still on the line, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's battling. I knew Donald Ray, I knew he would fall back. He came down pit road a lot earlier than these other drivers did, so those tires just fell off. But white flag in the air for Jacob Bradley, and an 8-second lead. Not much to worry about there if you're that 50 car.
Tom Sears and Donald Ray now going to battle it out. There goes Jacob Bradley, Sears and Ray. Now drag racing for the position. They will get the white flag before Jacob Bradley collects the checker. Donald Ray trying to defend that 7th position. Kevin Feemster is only 1 second ahead, side by side out of turn number 2. Jacob Bradley comes off of turn number 4. He will win another race this season. Tom Sears on the outside, Ray to the inside. Ryan 7th on the line.
Yeah, this is a great battle, and they get to race it back because even though the checkered flag is out, they are still on their last lap. So this is a battle for 7th coming back to the checkered flag.
Tom Sears briefly got in the wall. Donald Ray to the left-hand side. Will Colin McDonough play a factor? Drag racing for 7th out of turn number 4 in the semi-final, and the position goes to Donald Ray by 2/100ths of a second at the line. Talk about fireworks in the semi-final, Ryan.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. We got to see a race after the race was over. That's something I haven't been able to witness in a while.
Some of the best racing all night, you might say. And on board with this fella here, Jacob Bradley, who collects another win this season, just now putting the cherry on the icing on his championship cake. He's going to do a long burnout down that front straight. So Chuck Sweeting and Matt Seeger unofficially 2nd and 3rd. Seth Wansing rounds out your top 5. Larry Eberhard finishing 12th for those fans out there in chat. Jacob Bradley will continue to burn smoke, and we're going to collect our top 3 on the podium, fans. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have Bradley, Sweeting, and Seeger in just a moment. On the podium with our top three, starting with our bronze medalist tonight, the pilot from Georgia, Matt Seeger, with another third-place finish in the semifinal. And Seeger, take us through your experience tonight.
It was interesting. Didn't qualify as well as I thought that I would, but was able to get through the field pretty quick and had a really, really fast car. The Celsius Chevy was so fast, and I really thought that it was going to be enough tonight to finally, get along the line and find our first win. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. I really have no explanation for the mistake that I made after the pit stops. It's embarrassing. It's inexcusable. You can't make mistakes like that twin races here. I know that everybody else does, so it sucks. But congratulations to Bradley. He ran a great race and he's ran a great season and most definitely deserves everything.
Next week, Matt, we're going to your home track at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and a chance for redemption. Surely we're expecting you to put in a lot of practice time where you can. But third place is nothing to turn your nose up at. Going into next week's final, you will be in second with an 8-point advantage over Aaron Edwards. We'll see you in a week.
Thank you, sir.
Ryan, you have our silver medalist, Chucky Sweeting.
Absolutely. Chuck, great race. You come home in second. Tell us about your race.
Hey, Ryan. Yeah, it was kind of up and down a little bit at the beginning. I'm not a very good short run driver, and I got way behind that first run, and it took me a long time to get back up there, but I just tried to stay consistent and keep my lap times consistent, keep my line consistent, and not make any mistakes, and it paid off. I would have liked to have been able to try to race with Jacob, but I don't know. He's pretty much lights out wherever we go, so what an awesome race, though. All caution-free, slick track, great group of guys here.
Yeah, absolutely. So walk us through. Obviously, we were kind of watching you throughout the night, and like you said, early on, a little bit of struggles, but you kept after it, and you came home in second. What was your thought process there when you were struggling a little bit early on and just stayed in it? I mean, what do you do? What's going through your mind?
You just got to keep digging, don't give up, and it paid off. Just try to be consistent. I was good on the long run, and I knew I probably would be, so I just stuck with it and made some decent pit calls and gained some track position, and eventually got up to second. I'm still way behind the leader, but it's pretty good race. I'll have to work on my short run speed a little bit before we get to Atlanta next week.
Absolutely. Well, great race. You come home in second, and I know me and Rick talked to you last time you finished on podium, but man, we got to get you some sponsors for that car. That car looked good, but it didn't have no sponsors on it. We got to fix that.
Yeah, nobody's banging the door down with any checks in their hand, so we'll see what happens for next season.
That sounds good. Great run, buddy, and good job on your second place.
All right, thanks a lot. Y'all have a great night.
You too, Rick. You got the race winner, Mr. Jacob Bradley.
9 times this season, JB. Looking at the rest of the points here, going into next week's race, Chucky Sweeting unofficially is 2 points out of the money positions. He is in 4th, 2 markers off of Aaron Edwards, who's 8 points behind Matt Seeger. And then at the top, there's Lonely Little You, the TNT Season 10 champion. If it wasn't official before, it's official now. Headed into next week's race at Atlanta. What should we expect out of you, champ?
I think it'll just be kind of another similar performance to this. I know in this race at least I kind of made a little bit of uncharacteristic mistakes at the beginning. Kind of slid through my box. Didn't really get on pit road like I should, and just kind of had to work on it. Figured it out after about lap 75, and it was really. I thought he had me there at the first half, but just gotta keep racing and keep knocking him out.
Looking for double digits next week. Already got the crown in hand and trying to pad the stats, and then looking forward to season 11. Jacob Bradley, can these drivers expect you again?
There's a good chance. I don't got anything on my Thursdays. I'll have to make sure, and then I'll get back to y'all.
Congratulations on the 9th win this season. We're going to watch your car do some burnouts here on the front straight. We'll see you in a week.
Thank you.
Ryan, that's going to do it for us tonight. That is one of the better races that I remember seeing this season. That's a lot of drama, and it's why we love racing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we thought it was going to go one way, and it doesn't end up how we think it's going to go, and that is exactly why everyone watches racing, and that's why everyone is involved in these iRacing events every Thursday night for TNT. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So, just an awesome race. I mean, regardless, to have 18 different drivers run that many laps with no cautions, that's something special. So, great race, and can't wait for next week at Atlanta and get to go back home and hopefully watch another great race as well.
It's going to be a great week for racing. We've got, obviously, the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500, the Coke 600 coming up this weekend. We get the TNT Final next week. The 2 weeks after that, we begin A-Rock again, and before you know it, it's going to be late August, and TNT is going to come around again. The wheel keeps on turning, and we keep on watching for sure. Fans at home, fans in the chat, we literally can't do this without you. I say literally a lot, but honestly, it's not possible without you folks tuning in and being a part of the racing. So thank you so much, because it's a labor of love, and we love to do this week in and week out. So please be safe this Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your racing. Enjoy each other. Take care of each other. Stay safe. For Ryan Pennell, I'm Rick James, and until that next race, we will